Hey, you. My name is JR. I suck at EVE Online, but sometimes I'm persistent, and one of the times that I'm persistent is with this Winter Nexus event. I already posted a video about the Winter Nexus called Alpha Ice Mining during the Winter Nexus event in EVE Online. You should definitely watch that first. This is a follow-up. In that video, I talked about basically high-sec mining, how anyone, even alpha clones, can get into an endurance and use it to mine ice for 4 days during the course of the event. I had a good time doing it, but the profit is in LOWSEC. And so this video is about using an endurance with a different fit specifically for LOWSEC. I'm starting a new character, and this is another important thing, which is that I didn't think to talk about, which is you get this in the login rewards, right? Which is this thing, right? And in the 13 days of Eve, you have on the third day of Winter Nexus, CCP gave to me the most wonderful thing, which is this Winter Nexus expert system. And in the other video, I used it. But I have multiple characters. So yeah, first thing is don't forget, if you ran out of your 4 days, don't forget, you have infinite days, you have infinite characters. You could create a brand new alpha just for this if you really wanted to, just to keep going. So I'm going to use this on a second character, and I wanted to show how it works. You go to the redeem, because some people had questions. I didn't show it in the last one. I double click it, or I click it, and then I redeem home station. It's going to go straight into my head. Bing. Okay, it tells me what I have. Now I could come back. Oh, I turned on my sound. All right, so I have it now. I can, and just for the record, you could see if you go to your character sheet. Okay, so you could see it by going to your character sheet and then the character tab and then expert systems, and you'll see all the information about what you get from it. Okay, and this character actually has some of them. So what are we doing? What we want to do is survive in LOWSEC. So it's a extra survivable endurance. I'm going to hop into it now. So here is the fit. And what is most important here is that we've replaced one of our upgrades with a Stoic core equalizer, a warp core stabilizer, and then we have a burst jammer up here. And the goal is going to be to make us unkillable. And I think it's all set. Wait, we'll double check. I've got some snowballs to throw when that comes up. All right, I got 15. That's enough. Great. So we're going to head out, and I'm going to talk about it as I go because I haven't tried it yet. I'm excited to try it. I've been thinking about it all week. I was doing holiday stuff, and I couldn't really play the game. So I've just been imagining that this will work. So we're going to go out and see if I can survive against the slings and arrows of EVE Online. So where we want to go to is Covrin. I'm in Stackmon here at the EVE University headquarters. So what we're going to do is go right next door because we got lucky. And in this case, I'm over here in eveeye.com where you can turn on in under data display circle and then labels. You can click metaliminal storm, and I can see that some of these low-sec systems have storm. So I'm just going to go to the one right next door. I don't know. Maybe I should go to a more dangerous one. It's hard to say. But basically, this is bait. I bought 2 of these, and they're all fit up. And what I want to do is go to my fresh volatile ice field and see if anyone is going to try and hurt me. Where is local? I'm going to pull up local and close this down. Come on. Okay, put it down like that. So, okay, we got 13 people here. I like that. Someone is negative. Okay, so I feel we have some decent chance of someone trying to hurt us. Okay, there's no one right here. All right, so what happened was I made a ton of money in LOWSEC with the first 4 days on my other character. In a 2-hour period in LOWSEC, I made like 300 million. And there's a coveter right there. There's already an angry one. So you know what? That is not a good deal to me. I'm gonna warp away because okay. The point of this fit is to be able to warp away from dangerous people. Is this gonna happen? No, they didn't get me. Because what I'm gonna be able to do is the Warp Corp Stabilizer is an active module, and I can turn it on to give myself 2 points of warp stability. And so, okay, let's see. If we look in here, we had fresh, volatile, white storm. Okay, so actually that sort of answers the question of where we'll go. We're going to go to the next one. Sec 8 destination, because I am not suicidal enough to just hang around with someone who's hunting. Why didn't that work? Kumamar is the destination. Anyway, okay, I'll just go to Kumamar. I don't know why that's not working, but that's fine. Great. So if someone tries to lock us down with a warp scram or a warp disruptor, they're going to give us 2 with a scram and 1 with a disruptor, right, to stop us from warping away. Because the thing was, I got killed twice, and both times, more or less, I was just surviving a long time. My tank was sufficient. This has 7,000. The other one had a little bit less, but I just sat there and I couldn't leave because they locked me down with their scram, and I couldn't even use my Microwarpdrive because of the scram as well. So let's see. Up, down in the corner. White storm. White storm. Oh, there's more. Oh, sorry. Maybe there was actually more over there. I just didn't see it. So if we go to blue ice belt, but no, that's a normal ice. I want the special ice, right? And you watched my other video, so you're not confused about this fresh volatile ice field and why I'm warping to that. Yeah, so I would go to the sites, and almost immediately, like it was actually both times that I got killed, I lost 2 endurance. I would show up, and within a couple cycles, there was someone there in an industrial. They can only come in these industrials, so it's kind of a limited thing. They can't come in with really interesting ships. They locked me down with the scram, and then they just slowly killed me with their drones. I think in both cases, there was one was a Venture that killed me, and one was a Prospect. They didn't get killed by an actual Endurance. Endurance is a very terrible ship for killing people, but the Prospect and the Venture are both perfectly good ships for killing someone like this if they can lock you down, and that's what they did. So what I want to do is get away. If that happens, I'm going to hit my warp core stabilizer, which should give me, all right, so there's no one here, but we'll see how long that lasts. Wait, where am I? Yeah, I'm at the... Why? Oh, my miscellaneous load preset. I'm going to put mining. Great. And I'm going to actually go to the furthest away, and I will approach, and I will try and lock it down when I can. Here, we'll look at it. Yeah, so they killed the heck out of me. Oh, there's someone right away, so I'm going to warp away again and see if they are going to hurt me. They yellow boxed me. All right, perfect. We're going to try it. Warp core. Okay, and this, we're going to align to it. And we're going to warp if we can. Warp drive active. Perfect. There we go. There we go. I would have been dead. I would have been dead if I didn't have my special fit, because this fit, right? That's it. The warp core stab. So that was that was pretty fast. Wow, it is dangerous to be doing this today, isn't it? So I'm gonna dock up, and there we go. Point proved. I'm 99% sure that without this special fit, if I just had that extra mining upgrade, Ice Harvester upgrade 2, which was my other fit, which we could see here, my yield one, right? And the difference, if we click back and forth, they're almost the same, except the mining upgrade requires a lot more power grid. And so I have the ancillary current router, because the without the ancillary current router, the extra mining upgrade trashes the power grid. So that was nice. And so I had this extra thermal shield amplifier, because there's a second item in the slippery one. So this is my slippery fit, and I'll put these both in the description. In the slippery fit, I wanted this extra module that I used. I don't know if it had an effect, right? But this is a burst jammer I'm not super familiar with. This is the first time I've ever used this, but I'll put the description up for you. What it does is try to stop people from locking you. It's equivalent to the Caldari ECM E-War module. And so it makes it hard for people to lock. And so it causes everyone in your vicinity to unlock whatever they had. So I can go back, I guess, theoretically, and watch the video that I just created to see, did it un-yellow box me when I clicked that? But the point of this is, if there's one person, unless they are really acting weird and have multiple scram, or scram and a disruptor, I guess, they're not going to be able to, I'm going to be able to get away from them despite being locked. But if there's more than one, this one equalizer won't work and there's no way to put more than one. You used to be able to stack them up, but now you have one, it gives you 2 points, so it cancels one scram or 2 disruptors, but any 2 people can pretty easily lock you down. So if there are multiple people, and I've heard that there are, I haven't seen them yet. Once again, that was multiple situations that I've had. That's the 4th time, I guess, where I've seen hunters, and all 4 times they were alone. I think it's really like, a lot of work for 2 people to hang around just to try and get people in the ice storm here using these industrial ships. But if there were 2 of them, this burst jammer would at least give me a chance, because one of them I can run away from. So if this happens to work on one of them, or all but one, or all of them, I will get away because they'll have to lock me again, and hopefully I'll manage to align and get out of there in time. All right, jumping in to actually look at what happened here. So what I didn't notice, there was a couple things I didn't notice, like I put it on the credits. I didn't notice there was a friend here. I didn't have the friendly tab open, and that's actually something I should look at adding to my overview. So I came in here. I didn't notice him. That's not the yellow. That's a friend. That's why it's green. It's my friend Constantine, who later chatted me. Now, if I come into it, we have the important things that happen. All right, so he first comes in, he locks me up. I'm red, he's attacking me, he's got me scrambled. Right now, I wouldn't be able to warp. I push both buttons. Okay, so the stabilizer does work. That's good. At this point, it's active. He's still active, but I have the bonus, so I can overcome this, right? I now have 3 points instead of 1, and so his 2 points are canceled. All right, but here's the thing that happens. I click on the burst jammer, which I already explained now, and the thing is, it says restricted by safety system, and I should have tried this before actually going into LOWSEC. But basically, you've got to set your safety to yellow to use it. And the reason is it can hit anyone. It will hit people who aren't even locked. And that's the good thing. I don't have to mess around with locking him. I just have to push it, but I have to be yellow. So in the future, after a bunch of these fights, I will figure that out. I will mention it out loud. But just so you know, that's important. And if you're going to try and use this, definitely set this. I thought maybe my capacitor didn't have enough. And I know that my capacitor can be a problem here because it takes a lot of cap. But in this case, it didn't even have a chance. So it just flashed red. So watch out for that and make sure you are on yellow. And then, yeah, that's the rest of the fight. All right, back to the discussion. So that was interesting. The problem here is it doesn't actually let me just hang around doing nothing. What it lets me do is escape when there's a problem. So if every system is full of hunters, it's going to be inconvenient. I think, so actually I'll just undock now and maybe we'll try to find a different one. Whoops. Yeah. If I hang out in the same system doing this, I think they're going to figure it out. And they'll come with multiple people to get revenge on me for wasting their time. So I don't want to get sloppy about it. You know what I mean? So I think the strategy here is using a fit like this. And pretty much this fit, I really looked into it to see what I would be able to manage. And this seemed like the strongest. And I asked the people at Eve University for their help, and they recommended this. Oh, okay. Time to dock up again. Some more people and endurances. Are they hunting me? I wonder. Or is it just really edgy? Because, yeah, they're super angry looking, aren't they?
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Okay. Woof. Wait, it's Monday. It's Monday at 11 a.m. my time here in Mexico, and that was a lot of people hunting me. Okay, so point being, there you go. Now there's 2 of them. So I may or may not be right that someone said, hey, there's a jerk who thinks they can get away with using a slippery fit to escape us, and we're not going to let that happen. So my idea was to go to one system, slip away, then basically right away jump to a different system. Maybe jump a couple times and find a new ice belt, and hopefully avoid ever seeing the same person twice so they don't start actively hunting me. In my previous times, at one time it was late at night my time, so a quiet time for the server, and I had 2 uninterrupted hours of mining in the same belt, and I made 300 million. So you can make a lot of money if you can find a safe place to go. The problem is when you land, the 2 other times I tried it, I got killed within 10 minutes. So I think once you find a quiet belt, you'll be good, but you might have to warp around a bunch to find it. And this is my solution. The other way to do it, and honestly, I want to go out there and like practice, but it's so hot right now that I'll just sit with you for a bit, and maybe I'll talk a bit, and then we'll come back around later, and I'll show you some more examples of how it looks. But there's a bunch of stuff you can do to scan around you super actively. Like if you're watching D-scan like a hawk, you're watching local, as soon as these people, these angry looking people in local are around, you just leave. Like if you look these people up on Zkill, so like I can come over here and go to Zkill and we'll look someone up. You're going to see that they are doing endurance kills in an endurance. So yeah, so this person is clearly busy lately killing the miners, killing people doing the mining in the sites. Yeah, look at all these endurance. So I think if you're not going to do this, if you're going to go for maximum yield and you're not going to try and solve it this way, what you want to do is watch local. Anytime a flashy comes up, you're looking him up. And if there's anyone in the system that's killing endurance, you just get out of there because they're going to come get you and you're not really prepared. The difference is with this fit, I can wait until they lock me up. Like, I don't know, I'm gambling. Every time I do it, I'm going to be gambling. But if I want to, look away from the screen, like if I think maybe mining is super boring and what I want to do is watch a video or read something or work on something on a second screen, in high-sec mining, you can do that. In low-sec mining, you don't want to do that because like I learned with my other 2 ships, which, I was testing it and I found out I wanted to see how I would die. And so I let myself lose some ships because I was making so much money. By the time they lock me up, I'm already dead. Like I can't escape. And so this way, and so when I'm looking away, you have to constantly be looking and doing D-scan. They flash on the overview for like 1 second after they come in the site because they have to come through the acceleration gate and they have to be an industrial. So after the acceleration gate, I think that they're decloaked, but then they can recloak and then approach me and decloak only super duper close where they can already scram me, right? So if I'm not constantly looking at the screen, then I'm going to end up locked up. And so this way I can look away from the screen, briefly or for a long time. I could wait to hear the audible yellow box alarm because that's the one thing you can hear while you're looking away. And then at that point, I just look at the screen, immediately click my warp core stab, click my burst jammer, align to a station and get out of there. I was also thinking that aligning, and I didn't try this, but when I get there, once I start mining, align to the station, then stop your ship so you don't fly away. And then while you're mining, you're already aligned. That way, there's one less thing to get in your way, right? Which applies either way. But in this case, I have a certain number of seconds, the length of the equalizer, which is reactivation delay is 150 seconds. So you only have one. That's one important thing to think about. You only have one try. If you use it and then don't get away in that period, you can't use it again for a long time. It lasts 12 seconds. So there's no reason with my 4.1 default align time that I shouldn't be able to align. Make sure your Microwarpdrive is off. If you have your Microwarpdrive on, that's not going to work. But if your Microwarpdrive is off, 12 seconds should be more than enough to align and get away. I think even if they have you webbed up, maybe, don't quote me on that. I don't know. I haven't tested that. But yeah, so you have 12 seconds. You do both of these, and you have a good chance. The other thing that changed about this, just to finish the fit stuff, was the small core defense field extender, which I already had on the other one, just to give me more shield. But then small thermal shield reinforcer. So because this one, I on the other fit that I updated, there's thermal and EM to close a hole because this ship fundamentally has a hole in the shield in both of those. So with this one, with the slippery, I lose the thermal one here, so I put it here. And overall, the EHP is even higher, 7.2 instead of Oh no, 7.3. Okay, so the yield one happens to be a little higher, but whatever. That's not going to make the difference compared to having these two. The real difference is the gun. So it's 76 seconds if you want to have the warp core stab instead of the thing, but with the yield it's down to 69. Nice. But you know what? To me, the amount of time I lose going back and fitting a brand new ship and being constantly paranoid, right? I think the yield is absolutely worth it. Like to be able to survive and keep moving and keep playing even when there's people around. I think I'll make a lot more money that way than the few seconds slower it is. All right, so I'll stop there for a sec and I'll go back out and record and we'll see what happens if I can find a safe spot to actually do some mining. All right, we're back. I'm actually mining. Apparently, it was a perfect storm of violence the first time around when I was trying to show you violence. You saw it. When I want to show you calm, I show you calm. Oh, there's a reward button. Don't forget to click your reward button so you can make progress along the track. This character, of course, starting fresh, so I definitely want to keep pushing those buttons. I'm hoping within the next 4 days I'll be able to get the whole thing done by just hanging out here and doing something else, and it's working so far. No one's come to bother me, so I had been working on my overview because it was just totally just okay before. I had set it up really well on my other character, but their expert system ran out. So, what do I got going on here? Well, first of all, I'm using the new feature. So if you go to the settings and then you go to feature previews and you turn on multiple overviews, OMG, I love multiple overviews. So that's great. So I have my main overview here, right? I'm keeping it on the mining one. I could have also used, so these two are extra overviews and I could have put the mining on here. But I kind of like the idea of having it set up so I always have my escape. In the Eve University overview, there's one of the filters is called warp out, and it's just things you can warp to. So I definitely am using this. So that way, this is always visible, and I can actually keep the one I plan to warp to pre-selected. And so one of the things I wanted to show was while I'm in the ship, I started mining, and then I pre-aligned to this Ansu. So if I hold C and click it, I should look at it. Okay. So it doesn't look like I'm aligned, but I don't know. At least I won't bump into the rock. That's the most important thing. Alignment is mostly about your speed, but by moving towards the thing and then stopping, you avoid a situation where your precious 12 seconds of warp stability get foiled because you're bumping against collidable objects. So this way I make that work. It's kind of tricky. You got to kind of press the minus at the right moment. But I just have to be within 7 kilometers, so I just barely kept it here, but now I'm not moving, and so it's fine. It's going to keep going. Obviously, if you align towards it and keep going, you will go too far away from the rock, and these guns only go 7 kilometers, so it's really important not to go too far. But anyway, I figure that'll help me. It also moves me a little further away, because if we look at the overall thing, when I arrive at the site, my logic is go to the one that's furthest away. That way, someone arriving fresh will have that much more distance to cover. Oh, okay, so I actually need a new asteroid here, so I will try and lock this one up. Oh, I have to get closer. That's right. My locking distance, one of the downsides of the warp stab is your locking distance and your locking time. So those will both be slower. I really don't think that's the end of the world, personally. But your mileage may vary. All right, so I'm going to start the gun. Great, and then I'm going to stop. Okay, so once again, I think I will, because of the way the angles, I'm already on the right side of the rock, so that if I want to warp to Ansu 1 Ushukoni, there we go, I'm safe. I'm on the other side, and I will be able to go, so just stopping, perfect. All right, so that's sort of how it works. Right, so okay, so I got my overview. The other one I really love is my ships only. So this window here, overview, I have it set. You could set it, how to do overview is a whole subject, but I have the filter set to one called ships only. And the great thing about this is that it says nothing found in big letters. And that means that visually, if anyone comes in and they would be on the overview, right, it's really hard to notice that, even if it's a color, even if it's flashing on the overview when there's a bunch of stuff. But to me, the fact that this giant nothing found will disappear and something will be there, and it's likely to be flashing in some way or another because it's usually criminals that are going to come hunt you. I think it really helps create a visual alarm, which will go on before the audio alarm of being yellow boxed. So anyway, I thought that was like, this is a nice little, and you could put this wherever you want, wherever you're most likely to see it. I have my other screen below. So to me, if I'm looking at the other screen and this starts flashing, I'm more likely to notice it. Versus if you had your screen on the left, put it where you'll see it most likely and have it as an addition to your normal overview, right? This doesn't replace your normal overview. It just gives it a much better way to see what's happening. And then the other things I'll mention, there's no locations, but show your locations. And then I have my active ship and my mining hold. And I don't know about you, but I didn't know about this. So I have my normal inventory, right? Which I often make tiny and weird so that it can fit, in the screen in this way these ones are. But what you could do is if you just take either your main thing, your drone, or your mining hold and drag it out, that hit it. But if I pull it out, boom, it's separate and it has its own settings. So I can go in the settings and say, make it compact, hide the sidebar, show icons or details, whatever you want, and then it gets this little window. And each time you do it, that window will look the same. It will remember its settings separate from the main inventory window so that I can open and close the main inventory window and keep my nice settings spacious settings. There we go. So isn't that nice? So I don't know. I love how this looks, this whole little UI that I've got going on here. Oh yeah, and local. This is a great thing that I stole from Ashtarothi, who plays around a lot with this. So local, right? What you could do is, this is local. You just make it as small as possible and then very tall and then move it all the way over on the right and you move over your overview to make space. If I wanted, I could also do this. If there's not a lot of information I need to see here, I could bring this all the way down and have everything so that I can always see everyone here and I can watch and see if there's criminals and things like that, right? Because that's what I should be doing. If I'm not relying on my slippery fit, I should be using the local to look people up, and this just makes it so much more helpful. And you know what? There's really not that often where I want to see text in local. I guess there's certain missions where unfortunately text is in local, although I know that they want to change that because that's terrible. But yeah, so I'm finding this is a really nice way to keep it visible so that if I'm looking anywhere near the overview, I see it, and so that it's totally separate from this other one, your normal chat, right? So you could close down your normal chat without ever losing local. I wish there was a way to duplicate. I don't think there's a way to duplicate local. I wish that I could have one here and then one over here that I just look at when I actually want to talk to people. But look at this, I'm mining and I'm safe and I can totally stop paying attention and relax on some level, knowing that I can leave anytime. I have 12 here. You saw, I'm not going to go over it obviously, but in my other video, I talked about how to use the Orca, the Ore Friable Volatile Ice processor, and you bring your stuff over. So I bring it over every 14. I was thinking another way to stay safe, right? We're talking about how to stay safe in these low-sec sites is to, every time you hit 14, because what I was doing was I would hit 14, I'd come drop them off, get my crates, and then keep them in my ship and keep mining. But, if you're really feeling unsafe, and especially if you find you're losing money or it's not working, just come drop them off and just go back to the station. Go back to the station every time. Make a habit, because each of those boxes, those boxes are worth so much. Each of them is worth 20 million. So often. So if you go back every time, dropping off 40 million, 40 million, 40 million. Imagine if you were doing normal mining and that's how much you were making in a ship that costs 35 million. That'd be incredible. So that was one thought I had. Well, if I was feeling unsafe or if I didn't want to use this fit, although honestly, I don't see why anyone would not use this fit. If you're alone in here and you're not going to defend yourself and you're just going to try and run, oh my God, that was so good how easily it was to run. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Some different options to make sure you never lose any of your money. And you just sit here and it's kind of boring. But previously I was flying all around. I would orbit the rock just to make the video more interesting, but that would ultimately ruin my whole plan with alignment and stuff. So I want to stay on this side so that I can't possibly collide with it if they come in here. For what it's worth, right? We can look at the directional scanner a bit, right? So of course my directional scanner is set for, it's called descan ships defensive. So it has a few different things. But honestly, I'm relaxing. But if I wasn't using the stabilizer and the jammer, I would probably be watching constantly. I'd be looking for any signs of people being close. One thing you can do if you go to 1, then you will see only people who are at the acceleration gate. So people who are about to come in or people who are inside. And so that would be kind of helpful. One thing you can do is no bait. One thing you can do is come in here and look for specifically the angry ships that can come in and kill you. So if you saw Nereus, if you saw Prospect or Venture, there's not a lot of reasons why anyone would be using those ships, and they're good at killing you in the endurance here in this particular site. The problem is endurances can do it as well, and so you want to be careful because even in endurance, but you kind of expect like, oh, there's endurance in the system. Yeah, of course they are. They're doing what I'm doing. They're mining. Yeah, great. Okay, so there we go. I will pause again.
Warp drive active.
All right. Well, there was an example. Not very interesting. I was just coming back to the boulder, and a venture came very sloppily from far away, and I was able to warp away. I think I would have been. I didn't use any of my special tools, so I would have been able to warp away either way. But oh, and he followed me to the station. That's interesting. And oh man, I love having that overview. Did you see that? That the way it pops up in your vision when you're not looking anywhere near the normal overview is just wonderful. All right, so I'm going to open up my inventory here, and I will drag my 2 things. So I was coming back. I was doing what I said. I'm coming back. I'm opening things up. Oh, wait, I shouldn't even open it up here. That's right. I was going to open it just to be cheeky here. Well, let's open 1. We'll open 1. That won't break the bank. I'll still be able to fit it later. We'll just see what's inside. Ooh, and don't forget to claim reward. Always claim reward. All right, we're going to click on our little buddies here. So I like to open it up like this. So I put this so I can see them both and I can see how much they're worth. So that's worth nothing. We got something that's worth a little tiny bit. Okay. Oh, man, lots of bubba. Okay. That's not worthwhile. There we go. 11th tier, 6.3 million in 1 box. Beautiful. And then some nothing. And a 7th tier. All right. So we got 7 million out of 1 box. Okay. That's great. So the logic here is you can hold you can hold way more boxes than you should ever carry because each one is worth up to 20, 30 million, but some of them are worth 7, whatever. But if you just leave it in the boxes, you can theoretically hold a ton of stuff. So what I would do is fill up this thing in the station, in a random station, then come back at the end and haul them once back to a very safe place where you plan to sell them and stuff, and then open them there. Actually, the ideal way would be, so if we go to our item hanger, I figured this out. If you go to view market, right, what you want to do is sell these at the special stations where Concord is buying them, and you can tell it's Concord by the 364. That's where you'll get the most money. I don't think but selling these to High-Sec buyback probably isn't worth it because they'll take a cut, and you can just get the full amount so easily by just going here, jumping two systems. So what I actually have been doing is I take all my boxes, I bring them to that station, and then open them right there because the most heavy thing by far, 10M3, is these overseers effects. So if you go there, open all your boxes there, everything else will easily fit in the endurance hold, as long as you don't have the overseers effects. Whereas if you open them anywhere else, then it's going to be hard to move them around, specifically because of the overseers effects. Okay, so I'm not going to open the other one. I will keep loading this back up, and I will see you if something else happens.
Warp drive active.
Okay, well, we have this Venture who's chasing me around. Good old Kakaoiek. Oh, shit. Okay, now we are serious. We're jumping. We are doing this. Oh, I opened planetary industry. That's hilarious. Okay. Oh, no. Let's see if we can get out of
Warp
here
drive active.
before it ends. No. It happened. I let myself get sloppy. And now, wait. Yeah, so it takes him forever to kill me. Or here, well, align. Is there something I can do? I don't think there's anything I can do. Can I click that? Can I click this again? No. There we go. That's how you die. I got to keep my 2 boxes, but it won't add up to much. Okay, so let's now go and dock.
Warp drive
Kill
active.
right earned. Oh, he's getting me. Ah! What's my home station? Oh, bummer. I forgot to change my home station. Hopefully it's Stackmon. And that's how you die. That's how you die. Real lazy. So there you go. That's why I need my slippery fit, and that's why I need to use it properly. I would say you can go back and look again. All right, so we're back here with the instant replay, and I am so embarrassed. So, for one thing, it seems my overview is on the wrong tab, so I didn't see him in my main overview, but a good thing I had my ship's overview, so no regrets about that. But I'm coming up on the acceleration gate, and it seems he's already here. He's just waiting for me at the acceleration gate, which was a bit surprising. And of course, this is the same Venture, Kakaoiek, that's been there the whole time, so there you go. Good work, Kakaoiek. I hope you could find this and enjoy your medal because I I came out here specifically to defeat a Venture trying to hunt me, and you hunted me. Now let's see why. Well, first of all, uh, he gets me while I'm warping, so that's interesting. What should I have done here? I should have had my keyboard shortcut and pressed 3. I should have immediately pressed 3. I think that's one way to do it because I was already trying to warp. So I need to do some combination of pressing 3, clicking this button, and warping to something immediately. Uh, if I am already locked, I can't start warp. So aligning to something could make sense because then I'm aligning whether or not I'm warp scrambled. And so as soon as the warp stabilizer takes effect, the alignment will turn into warpable, getting ready for warp, filling that warp bar. Okay, so all right, so that's the first thing. Maybe I should have done it right away to make it work and then click this again. All right, so uh, great. We continue. He's got me. Now what do I do? Okay, I click on my warp core stabilizer. All right, it starts. Now what do I do? I click on, okay, and this is the crazy thing. I click on a planet and do the warp button, but that doesn't warp. It turns on planetary industry, and I just wasn't ready for this. I forgot this. I need to turn off planets. So it only takes me a second to get out of there. But look, he's already hurting me. And the biggest problem is I used up half of my 12 seconds on the warp stab opening up that stupid planet. So I need to change this to be not warp out. I don't know, but it needs to be something that doesn't have any of these planets because obviously there's no reason why I would ever want to open planetary industry. And I've actually encountered that before with this particular overview configuration. Okay, so once that's done, I come and I say, oh God, and I find an actual thing and a square, which means a station, and I go to warp and look at my stab. Sad, sad stab. And I try my we already talked about why that didn't work, so I did not yet figure it out at this point that I need to set my safety to yellow. So we will never know if the burst jammer could have saved me, but it for sure didn't here. And while I'm trying to warp, oh look, I'm getting so close, run out of time, and then that's the game. At this point, I'm totally screwed. I can try and align to things. I can try and save my shield. There's an argument to have some drones and send them out and try and make them fight him, but I don't really want to do that. And I don't like the idea of having my own aggression timers go off. Although I guess this burst is going to set my aggression timer somewhere. But yeah, all right. And that is how you end up floating in space as a beautiful body. So don't open planetary industry. Get an overview that doesn't have that, and make sure you push the warp stabilizer at the right moment. I think actually the best way will be to start aligning, press 3, and then get ready to warp, and then hold your hand on the button here, up here. Click the station, and then get ready to warp as soon as the warp stab takes effect, because that seems like enough. I don't know. I feel this running out of warp stab is the big problem, and something to pay attention to. Anyway, we're floating in space, and I'll go back to the recording. I would say that is an example of me not using it properly. Oh no, I'm in PC9. I went all the way back to nullsec. Hey, kids, don't forget to change your home station before you do dangerous things. But look at this, I can at least claim my reward. Wow, is that all? Oh, by the way, I love these new colors. Purple for nullsec. Oh, it's so distinct. They've really fixed this up on this path, and they changed the colors. So, all right, I'm going to go and jump to my jump clone, and definitely I'm going to, not there, I'm going to change my home station, and I'll get back out there, and I'll see you soon. All right, we are back in Stackmon. I have a brand new endurance all set up. Luckily, that's why I bought two. I'm going to be a smart Eve here and go and for sure make sure that I change my home station to select home station, and I'm going to choose my current Stackmon the quad. All right. So if this happens again, it hopefully won't be so dramatic. And for what it's worth here, I'm going to head back to Cavern. There's kills in these systems in the recent activity, so this should be the last couple hours, I think. Overall, they all have lots of murder over the last 12 hours, so we can see the ones with the storms are over here, and none of them are safe. The places with storms, people are definitely hunting, but I think Cavern and Rainier are about as low as you can get. So I think I'll do this path, but I'll start with, see if I can make Cavern work this time. And for what it's worth, I went and looked at Kakawiak because this person was chasing me the whole time, and so it was interesting to see their different kills. This was the one I happened to have looked at as an example before. And here's me, 20 million, nothing too impressive, nothing too disastrous. Notably, someone killed them after. About an hour later, someone came, and these two, I don't know what happened, but there must be an interesting story there. Anyway, so we will go back in, and we're going to undock, and we're going to go about our business trying to find an appropriate mining spot that doesn't get us killed. So I will meet you there. All right, so here we are at an asteroid. I'm going to do a couple things here based on learning my lessons. One, right, obviously this still isn't working. I'm going to set it to yellow. Partial safety. Important thing here at this point is when I go back into HiSec to renew my vow to green safety, because I don't want to accidentally end up in a situation. So now I can test this. Restricted by safety system. Why doesn't that work? Oh, it has to be red. Oh, geez. Okay, well, there you go. I guess if you're not into that, then feel free to skip this part, right? The warp core stabilizer is the main ingredient. This is a bonus. All right, so now I can test it. There we go. That's how it looks. It dunked my capacitor pretty big time. So definitely want to be careful. Want to make sure I don't. Another reason not to have my Microwarpdrive, in addition to the fact that having it on would make me easier to lock up, easier to hit, and more likely to have trouble jumping away. But there we go. So now it's happening, 6.6. And once it finishes, I think that's when we'll find the... Oh, no, it can just keep going forever. Okay, but yeah, more than one is really, really going to drain. This is something, usually it's for battleships, people say. So yeah, okay, so we'll make sure we turn that off, but for what it's worth, my advice, each time you fit a ship, just once you get mining, go click it. Make sure it works, and if it's not working, figure out why. All right, and so the other thing I can do, I'm trying this. I'm moving my overview with the warpable locations up to the top here, so that everything is more or less up here, so I can go Govern, jump, Govern, jump. I'm no more messing around with the right click and risking having PI come up. Yeah, okay. See, yeah, what I was expecting in the other one was that there would be nothing, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to warp. Whereas, no,
Warp
am I
drive
doing something? No,
active.
don't go, don't go, don't. Okay, so there we go. So, but what I can do is go here and actually, there we go. Actually, so that did what I wanted accidentally. I could also have clicked and then gone to align to, and then click stop to make sure I'm still within 7,000. But that if anyone comes and I start to warp, it's going to be guaranteed not to have the iceberg in the way. All right. Sorry for repeating myself. I will let you know what happens next. Profit or death? Okay, actually, there's a venture on the gate. So this happened pretty quickly. It flashed in the overview very briefly in a way that I'm not even familiar with, but somehow being at the gate. So I have my D scan set to 1, and when I refresh it, the venture is there. That means there it is. So I can come here, align, and actually I'll just dock.
Warp drive active.
Establishing warp vector as he tries to get to me. Too much. Grimeximorpher. Okay. So I managed to get 3 ice. That's not very good. I am going to jump to the next system, actually. Oh, wait. No.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
No, I docked. Okay, but I'll see you in the next system. I'm not going to... There seems to be only one ice place in the system, so it doesn't seem worth it to contest it when that guy is just sitting there. So I'll see you soon. All right, so I just wanted to show an example of this, which is that for some reason we are getting rats spawning. And so this was a new site. I managed to get 13 and 2 packages, so I did pretty well here before these rats came, but now the rats are here. So I'm going to just warp away. As always,
Warp drive active.
rats aren't going to pin you down, or at least so far, these rats aren't trying to pin me down. So I'm able to just warp away before they do any meaningful damage. But that's annoying. I feel like I wasn't seeing that a week ago. So it's possible that they actually added that as something new. I don't know. But I just warped. There was a second ore site, so I'm going to come here and see. Oh, looks like this one is empty, so that's great. Using my D scan at
Warp
0.1,
drive active.
the only thing it would show are ships within the acceleration gate within the site. So there we go. I got a little bit done. I'm actually got seriously bored, so I started doing more editing on the rest of the video so far. And yeah, so I'm going to keep mining and see if anything more exciting happens. Here we are. I brought us back to Oldbra. Actually, I brought us here. We had some good luck in Gar. I managed to save up, I think, I managed to get 5 cases. I already had the 1 and the extra stuff. I went and picked it all up and brought it to Oldbra. Why? Because like I said, if you go to the market, there's people who always want them, and it's NPCs that will buy them from you, and it's just certain stations. So usually if you just go to the market, in every region there's some, and for some reason in Rennes there wasn't. You had to go over by a region, but they're always around, and it's probably always worth coming here and then opening your crates here so that you don't even have to bring them, because these 6 crates are going to take, we'll see, up a lot more space than the 26.3 that they did now. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to open one up and we'll see what's inside, and you can play along with me with the meaningless minigame, and I'll show you how to skip the minigame. Isn't that exciting? Okay, so let's open one up. Ooh, a skin. Carries Glacial Drift, and that seems to be valuable. What is it? Oh, no, 500,000. Yeah. These things are cheap. One thing, if you get these skins, hold on to them. There's a good chance that they're going to be worth more later. Okay, so that was 17th. Hey, not bad. 35 million. There we go. That's why we bother. 35 million just for that. And that was useless, and that's nothing. And that is a 9th. Okay, acceptable. 2 million. And then some nothing. All right, so that's nice, but here's what I think. I haven't actually tried it yet, but people say you click on the box and then you use the keyboard shortcut. There's no X. Where's the X? If there was an X, apparently if there's an X, it just dumps the stuff into your inventory. But if you do, all right, for me, it's Command W. Did it work? No. Oh, no, open. And then once it's open, I do Command W. I'm on a Mac. There we go. See, I got all my stuff. So it went to 48 million. Open another one. Open. And I do Command W. There we go. 49 million. Ooh, it's not going super well here. But I feel like clicking the button. All right, and we come here and we get circuit. Oh, another skin. Phantasm Glacial Drift. Is that any better? There we go. That's worth 6 million. And if I wait till after the event when not everyone has one, Eucatotic, is that worth something? No. All right. You love this part, don't you, you dirty little gamblers? All right, 21 million on that 15th. Yeah, this is why it's worth it. Well, okay, I'm glad I did this because that first box was pretty bad, like 8 million. But look at these. So many of these are worth a ton. I've already got 84 million, and I still have a couple boxes. Open another. Here, I'll take everything and put it into the item hanger, and then we'll open up this. Yeah. Nothing. Oh, 8th tier, 1.2 million. Some snowballs. Those aren't worthwhile. All right, 9th. Oh, is that the 9th tier? Yeah, 9th tier. And a nice nothing. But look at that, another 3 million. All right, one more box, and then we'll be done. And I'll just show you how I sell the stuff. It's not very interesting, but I want to finish and see what I got. Okay, so we got 10th. And 6th, all right, so that adds up to something worthwhile. 3 million, some snowballs, a nice booster. These can be worth more than they seem sometimes. Ooh, Aurora Universalis, my favorite. All right, and a Tristan. Ooh, I'm just going to use this. I don't think I have this one yet. How do I inject it? Maybe I can't do it from here. Activate license. Yes, I love that. Skin, all right, and one more. There we go, charred microcircuit. Okay. So if we come into our item hanger, we're going to stack all with the fancy new stack all button. And we're going to see, all right, so all of these overseers effects. Oh, wait, what's the total? The total value is 92 million. There we go, 92 million. And that was 6 boxes, or no, it was 7 boxes because we already opened one. So 7 boxes, and each box takes like 8 minutes. So like, I don't know, do the math. It's pretty good money, and normally I could relax quite a bit, but I was, making a video for all of you. So I'm going to go to sell. I'm going to set it to immediate, of course. Immediate. Why isn't that working? Because it's doing all this stuff. Okay. Right. So there we go. And out of all that theoretical money, if you come to the Concord station, it's just real money. That's just 70 million that I just have right now. Couldn't get any better for it. There's no use for those things. So there we go. And now I have 15 million. That is, if I lose it, it's okay. What I'll probably do is leave it here, go back out, do a bunch more of this, come back here, sell my Overseer's effects to Concord, and then at some point I'll have like 60 million worth of random stuff, and I'll bring it back to the headquarters of Eve University, where I can do the buyback program for 95%. Or if you're not near if you're not in a corp with that, or you're not near a corp, all you have to do, go to any high-sec system and use high-sec buyback. Check out my previous video about high-sec buyback for information about that. It's not a good place for skins. Skins, you're going to have to just put them somewhere and bring them to a trade hub, because that's really the only place where you can get a fair price, or just use them. Although you might get multiple copies actually in the end. But anyway, that's it. That's it for me right now. I am Jer. I hope you liked this video. Extra editing effort went into it, but hopefully all the advice and the examples of what happens when you're out there was useful. Sorry it was such a bad time. I'm sure there's better times. For what it's worth, I'm sure there's better times where you can make more money using the endurance during this event without being constantly chased away. I think I got kind of unlucky at the time of day I'm here. And also, final thought is, it turns out the Eve University, my corporation, has an active fleet right now doing ice mining, and I ignored it because I'm doing a video and I won't be able to interact with them and stuff. But if I was with them, I bet it would be a lot safer. If a bunch of endurance are out there together and they all have their drones, you can be a significant threat. Like when I was walking around, when I was going to different sites, as soon as I saw a bunch of endurance inside of one site, I was like, well, I'm not going to bother. They're going to chase me off because they're going to think I'm like trying to rob them, So basically get a bunch of you. If you get a bunch of people, I think you'll be safe even without the warp core stabilizer and all that. I would still keep them. To me, it would still be worth it for that in case something terrible happens. But I wouldn't have been wasting so much time jumping from site to site, even when I was surviving. Jumping from site to site is a waste of time. So being in a big group is probably the answer. You know, what's the best ship in EVE Online? Everyone knows. It's friendship. All right. I'm Jer. Please like and subscribe, and you can use my referral code. Although I'm booked up till like March, the end of March, with Fake Omega from the referral code. So don't do it unless you have to. But if you want to, please, thank you. Yeah, leave me comments. How's it going for you? Are you making money on this Winter Nexus? I hope you are. I hope we're all making lots of money to spend on whatever we want to spend it on in the game. I'm Jer. I love you. Bye bye.